Hello, welcome to another essay writing video. Today in our video we're going to go over some sentence starters and sentence enders for a discussion essay. If you find this video helpful, I encourage you to go to my website at www.englishryan.com and my blog at www.ielts.com. I had created a video a few months ago that went over a few of the different ways that we can start sentences in an argument essay, and I received a number of requests from people asking for a similar video to be made regarding discussion essay writing. So let's get to our introduction paragraph. Now, as you know, in your discussion essay, your introduction paragraph will look like this. You will have a background sentence, a detailed background sentence, which will lead us towards the points of view that you're going to be discussing. You will have a sentence that presents the 2 points of view, and finally a sentence that gives an outline or sort of a structure to the order that you're going to talk about the points of view in. Now, your background sentence, this is kind of one area that's similar between the two essay types. But a quick example could be something like, since the beginning of recorded time. Now, of course, this would be for a topic that is very old. But if we were talking about something a little bit more recent, perhaps I think we talked about violence on TV, so that might be, we could write something like, since the inception of television. Let's just as an example, since the inception of television, so since television was created. Good way to start our essay. Now, to go into detail, we might try a phrase something like, this can be seen nowhere clearer than. So if we were talking about I don't know, violence, and then we were to kind of pinpoint it on television, we could say something like, this can be seen nowhere clearer than television. Maybe the topic's the rising level of violence in media. This can be seen nowhere clearer than on television, if that was our topic. The next sentence illustrates the points of view to be discussed. And students always get a little bit confused with the wording when it comes to stating the 2 points of view. But all you have to do is say something like, on the one hand, many people believe, or many people hold true, or it is believed. So on the one hand, and then so this you would say perhaps in one sentence, on the one hand, people believe this, many people believe this, many people hold true that, and then of course in the following sentence you would say, on the other, or on the other hand, other groups support this opinion. So that's one way that you could state the 2 points of view. We could also use something like, according to one camp, and then talk about what that point of view is. And of course we finish that with, according to the other, and then whatever it is. We might even say something like, many argue that, and then mention whatever it is, and then comma, however, and then however, maybe comma, this is refuted by others. So in this instance, we would have both points of view in the same sentence. So many argue that chimpanzees are the most intelligent of the animal kingdom. However, this is refuted by others. I don't know if that was our essay question. Now for the outline, for your outline, it's kind of a stock sentence that you can commit to memory, and you're just basically going to state that you're going to analyze the 2 points of view, and that eventually you're going to present your own stance on the issue. So you could use a phrase such as, perhaps these arguments will be analyzed prior to coming to a reasoned conclusion. Or maybe something, oops, it's jumping down there a little bit. If you want to take a look at that again. So these arguments will be analyzed prior to coming to a reasoned conclusion. Both sides will be critiqued before maybe a reasoned conclusion is found. Reasoned conclusion is found. So here you're just saying to your reader that you're going to look at the 2 sides of the argument, and then you're going to present what your opinion is as the writer. Or maybe we could do something like, all arguments will be weighed prior to reaching an informed conclusion. All arguments will be weighed prior to reaching an informed conclusion. All these ways, all these examples are nice ways to give sort of a plan for the structure of the essay. Okay, let's go on to our supporting paragraph. Now, in stating your topic, as you remember, on a discussion essay, this is not your opinion, this is the opinion of someone else. So you might try a phrase such as, it is felt by many that, and then whatever that opinion is, it is felt by many that chimpanzees are the most intelligent animals on the planet, aside from humans. Let's see, another way we could try could be, today, many hold the idea of, and then, you know, maybe if this is an argument that that others are making, today many hold the idea of whatever it is true. So many hold the idea, or many hold the theory. I'll just put a slash in here. Theory, that could work as well. Many hold the theory, let me change this to theory, that violence on television increases violence in violence among youth, maybe. Today many hold the theory that violence on television increases violence among youth. True. Perhaps something that's a little bit older, we could try something like, historically, many people have supported the idea that, historically many people have supported the idea that, or traditionally groups around the world have ascertained ascertain sort of means to reach a conclusion. So traditionally groups around the world have concluded after calculating. all ways to introduce another person's theory or argument or point of view. Okay, now let's go on to our example. Now, I had just written a blog entry regarding introducing examples effectively, which you can also check out if you're interested. So, of course, for example, could be used. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out is an interesting way to present an example is to start kind of broad in your example and then to become a little bit narrow. And just a few days ago I wrote a discussion essay video, and we were talking about Asian countries, and in the example we mentioned specifically China and Korea. And so we say, for example, comma, and then we say Asian countries, comma, such as China and Korea, comma, and then we continue on. So this sort of method to reveal your example is quite effective, and it makes you sound, somewhat academic. So, for example, if I was to write, for example, many countries, Russia and maybe the Ukraine in particular, have cultures deeply rooted, let's say, in religion. Okay, so for example, many countries, comma, Russia and the Ukraine in particular, comma, have cultures deeply rooted in religion. Now, can you see how that kind of makes our sentence, the structure is a little bit more complicated, and it kind of draws the reader in. So we say, we're talking about countries, which is kind of a broad and somewhat ambiguous topic, not very specific. And then we go even more specific, and we say Russia and the Ukraine in particular, comma, have cultures deeply rooted in religion. And I think that the essay we wrote together 2 days ago was something like this. For instance, in Asia, comma, particularly China and Korea, comma, and then I think the other day we were talking about dog meat as a food, and we were giving examples of places where dog meat is actually consumed as a food. So here we say, for instance, in Asia, and then comma, particularly China and Korea, comma, and then we go on to talk about it. Or we can use this in different ways. We could say, for instance, among animals, comma, particularly monkeys and gorillas, I don't know, whatever, comma, and then go on to talk a little bit more in detail about whatever your point is regarding the example. So kind of a quick way to sound a bit more academic in your writing. Okay, let's continue here on to discussion. Now, you'll recall that in your discussion essay, this sentence helps to link your example to your topic sentence in this paragraph. So you have to show the relationship. So we would want to use something to kind of introduce the idea that, we're making a link here between two other sentences. So it might be something like, it goes without saying that, or this example shows clearly that. Okay, and on to our conclusion. Now the conclusion should state clearly and show that in this paragraph we have shown sufficient evidence that supports the point of view that we're presenting. So we have to remember that on our discussion essay, we're supporting both points of view, and then at the end, we're showing which point of view is stronger in our own opinion. Now, the conclusion sentence of your supporting paragraph has to, kind of give the sense that you have proven that this point of view is plausible, that this is, is understandable why people would believe in this point of view. So we could start with something such as, thus, the theory of, and then whatever the theory is difficult to debunk. So the theory of, and debunk means to kind of disprove, or to kind of show that there's no real concrete support for an idea. So if we mention that something is difficult to debunk, what our meaning is that it's a thought that's difficult to disprove. So this might be the theory of, or the theory that, depending on what your sentence is. Let's see, perhaps something kind of stock is, so it is easy to see why this argument has garnered a lot of support. Something like that could work. It is easy to see why this argument has garnered a lot of support. Okay, let's move on. So now to our conclusion paragraph. Now you'll remember there's 3 sections, and I find that for discussion essays, maybe 50% of the time we can easily link our summary and our statement of position into a single sentence. And I think that does a lot, to kind of keep the essay sort of moving, especially if the essay starts to get kind of long, which they can at times. I mean, if you're over, getting up around 300 words, I mean, that's a longer essay. You're only asked to write a minimum of 250. So sometimes it's nice if we can connect these 2 sentences together. I have a strategy that I can show you, illustrating how to do that. So we might say something like, after analyzing these 2 points of view, it is believed. Okay, so then of course after that you would say what your point of view is. After analyzing these 2 points of view, it is believed, and then whatever your opinion is. Or we could try maybe after hashing out the pros and cons of these 2 points of view, it is felt, after hashing out the pros and cons of these 2 points of view, it is felt, and then state your opinion. Or maybe we could even go a little bit stronger if it's an idea that we feel kind of passionate about. It is hard to see how anyone could feel or maybe could support, and then give the point of view that you're talking about following the analyzing of both points of view on this topic. It's a little bit longer, but let's see if we can get this into one screen. Okay. It is hard to see how anyone could feel, or hard to see how anyone could support the idea that, and then whatever the idea is, the idea that, and then you state, the point of view that you're talking about, following the analyzing of both points of view on this topic. Now finally we come to the last sentence in the essay, which is the prediction or the recommendation. Now we went over a few ways before. I'll try to include a few new ones this time. So maybe we might say without a doubt. Now this would be for a prediction. So without a doubt, such and such will, and then blah blah blah, do whatever. Or maybe another prediction, in the years to come, and then this thing will, or this thing is going to become this. A recommendation, we might say something like, it is felt that, and then whatever, would be best to. So if we're talking about a certain topic and we think that this, or a certain individual, or a certain group, or a certain theory, so it is felt that this person or this group would be best to, and then whatever our recommendation is. So it would be best to quit doing what they're doing, or would be best to start doing this new idea. Okay, so that's just a quick video including some sentence starters and enders that you can use in your discussion essay. Thank you for listening.